Good evening, friends. This is Sandeep once again in front of you with again a burning topic that is of cow slaughter in India. Today, I am going to give my own definition of the things, my own reviews on the things that is prevailing in our own country regarding cow slaughtering in India. Friends, talking about the cow slaughtering, as per the Article 48 of Constitution of India, which mandate the state to prohibit the slaughter of cows and calves and other milk and dark cattle. Friends, even in October 20th, on October 26, 2005, Honorable Supreme Court of India, in a landmark judgment, upheld the constitutional validity of anti-cow slaughter laws enacted by different state governments in India. Friends, today 24 out of 29 states currently have various regulations prohibiting either slaughter or sale of cattle. Kerala, West Bengal, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Tripura, and Sikkim are the states where there are no restrictions on cow slaughter even till today. And the laws on cow slaughter varies upon state to state. The preservation, protection, and improvement of stock and prevention of animal disease, veterinary training and practice is entry 15 of the state list of the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India, meaning that state legislatures have exclusive power to legislate the prevention and slaughter and prevention of cattle. Few states allow slaughter with the distinction fit for slaughter certification. Prohibition of cow slaughter is a directive principle of state policy contained in Article 48 of Constitution of India. It reads, the state shall endeavour to organize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines and shall in particular take steps for preserving and improving the breeds and prohibiting the slaughter of cows and calves and other milk and dark cattle. Existing meat policy, if we talk, then what is the existing meat policy? So, existing meat policy of India, the export of beef, which includes meat of cow, oxen, and calf, is prohibited. Bone in meat, carcass, half carcass of buffalo is also prohibited and is not permitted to be exported. Only the boneless meat of buffalo, goat, sheep, and birds is permitted to get exported. Today, there are lots of news regarding this shipment of cows from one state to another due to the preventive laws of that very state, which stops the slaughterhouses to slaughter the cows. That is why these cattle are being shipped from one state to another where the regulations are very easy. So this type of tariffing, this type of shipping is also illegal. Today, Chennai and Mumbai has many illegal slaughterhouses. As of 2004, if we talk, 3,600 legal slaughterhouses as compared to 30,000 illegal slaughterhouses were present in our own nation. If we compare the ratio, it means 1 upon 10, which is very high. The illegal works refers to 10 times, while the legal thing that is going on in our country is just one. Moving ahead, India produces 3.643 million metric tons of beef in 2012, which out of which 1.963 million metric tons was consumed domestically, while 1.680 million metric tons was exported. Friends, if we talk about the ranking of India in beef production, its consumption ranking, while its exporting ranking, then we come to know that India ranks sixth in the world beef production, seventh in the domestic consumption of beef, while first in the export of beef. If we talk about history of cows in our own country, the country in which we reside in is the world's largest democracy, where every religion has equal right, every person of any religion has equal right, and none of the policies of one single community is being provoked on some other community. This is the biggest good things, the biggest advantage of our own democracy. If we talk upon the ancient history, cow, as per our own democracy, cow has a symbol of wealth in India, treated as ma in the religion of Hinduism. Cow used for dairy products, tilling of land, and cow dung for fuel and fertilizers. It means there are various products of cows which are used for several purposes, and it is very helpful. Buddhism and Jainism also played a role in cow production idea of Hinduism. Panchagavya, which in our Hindu mythology is the five products of cow, which includes milk, curd, ghee, urine, and dung, which is used in several Brahminical rituals. So cow has a great importance in our whole society. When we go ahead, one of the divine Lord, as per the Hinduism, Lord Krishna used to tame cows, he used to feed cows, and that is why there is one special caste in Hindus that is named as Yadav, Yaduvanshi. They used to tame cattle, they used to feed them, and the proper caste used to, for a caste, the cattle as their mother, the beginning of that very caste. Their main work is to take care of all those cattle. If we talk about medieval history of this very issue, then we come to know that cow slaughter became prominent in India in the medieval period after 1000 AD. Why so? Because during this period, many of the Arabic leaders invaded India from West Asia or Central Asia. They invaded India. They used to do sacrifice of sheep, goat, and sometimes camels also. But they were not very frequent with cows, beefs, as there is a very less, although negligible amount of cows or beef, this cattle present in the Middle or Central Asia. But when they invaded India, the slaughtering of cows became more and more frequent because they got the cattle as cows over here. And most frequent was the sacrifice of cows on the day of Bakri. Goats and on the day of Bakri, goats and sheep were earlier sacrificed, but now one more new thing that was being sacrificed, that was cow. Maharaja Ranjit Singh and other contemporary rulers banned cow slaughter throughout their domain. When they come to know that cow slaughter is being done in their domains, the regions, they banned this completely. And if we talk about Mughal Empire, which ruled our country for a good time, so Humayun stopped eating beef. Akbar, Ahmad Shah, and Jahangir to impose selective restrictive bans on cow slaughter. Moving ahead, if we talk about some other empire, there was Maratha Empire, which in 16, there's just case which states that in 1683, Sambhaji, the eldest son of Shivaji, executed a man for killing a cow. So one can think that how we treat cows, if some we gave the cows the status, the position of our own mother, and even sometimes more than our own mother. That is why if a person who would try to invade us and would try to kill our mother, we would defy the same, we would revert them with the same pressure, with the same attitude, and this is not at all tolerable for us. If we talk about now, we talk about British Raj. First slaughterhouse was built in India in Calcutta in 1760 by Robert Clive. As Europeans were fond of beef and when they came in India, which was a colony of the British rule by that time, they came and they made the first slaughterhouse in Calcutta. Further, they used to move upon. They made several slaughterhouses in different parts of the country, where and including major parts like Chennai and at that time Madras and Bombay, where this type of slaughterhouses were more and more established. Now we are connecting the things. We must know that slaughtering and cow are more connected to our freedom revolt, freedom works also. Because in 1857, the revolution which was started by Mangal Pandey and other co-workers, they started the revolt because the cartridge which they used to tear with their own teeth was supposed to be made from the fats of pigs and cows, which was not at all tolerable in our own Hindu mythology. Talking about the independence era, some prominent leaders include like Mahatma Gandhi, Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Madan Mohan Malviya, Rajendra Prasad, and Purushottam Das Tandon assured that after achieving Swaraj, first action would be to ban slaughter of cows. In his speech, Mahatma Gandhi in his speech at Muzaffarpur, he tells the same. If we talk about post-independence era, India's first PM, Jawaharlal Nehru, opposed the resolution in 1954 moved by senior Congress MP Seth Gobind Das in Lok Sabha for a total ban on cow slaughter. According to Nehru, the issue of cow slaughter was unimportant and reactionary. He even proposed that he would be happy to resign rather to accept this very resolution. Further moving ahead in 1966, one of the activists, best known activist Jayaprakash Narayan also wrote to the then Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi regarding a complete ban on cow slaughter, but Indira Gandhi too refused to do the same. Now, after knowing so, we must talk about uniformity. Since it is in the state list, since cow slaughtering and making laws on cows and cattle, it is the state list, therefore the laws differ from state to state. So there is no uniformity of laws. Now some judicial proceeding upon this. In several cases, like Muhammad Hanif Qureshi was the state of Bihar, Hasamullah was the state of Madhya Pradesh, Abdul Hakim was the state of Bihar, and others. Supreme Court has held that a total ban on cattle slaughter was not permissible if, under economic conditions, keeping useless bulls or bullocks be a burden on the society and therefore not in the public interest. So it means that there is no total ban. People can do the same, but obviously, if there are things that must be done in a legal framework within the existing legal framework. Now, what is happening right now in our own country? That few political parties are saying, okay, this political party is imposing a ban on slaughterhouses, which is just attack on our own individualism, which is against secularism. So this is not at all right. There are existing laws, there are existing regulations which need to be followed, which need to be respected. And even when we are residing in a global democracy, it is the best and the biggest democracy in the world. And if we are residing in this very type of country, we must respect the rules, the regulations, the sentiments of other religions, the people residing in other religions also. This is for today. This is for today. Thanks. Jai Hind.